We are starting with the application of psychiatry and psychotherapy in homeopathic practice. In this 2.5 days that we are together, I don't know whether I'll manage to clarify things or confuse you more. If it is the latter, then there is some sign of improvement. So, before we can start on the topic proper, we have included both psychotherapy and psychiatry in this. Psychiatry has been included for the simple reason that you are doctors. Otherwise, usually it is not included. I do only on psychotherapy. So before we start with the topic proper, I would just like to differentiate among the various handlers of the mind. People don't know the distinction between a psychiatrist, a psychologist, a psychotherapist, a psychoanalyst, and a psychic. So who is a psychiatrist? He is a medical postgraduate. Having done graduation, now does an MD in psychiatry, who specializes in the diagnosis and treatment of mental diseases. And the diseases are caused because of neurotransmitter or electrical imbalance along the conduction of the nerves or in the very structure of the nerves. So that is a psychiatrist. He is a medical postgraduate. He is the only one who is authorized to prescribe medicines. Rest of them cannot prescribe medicines. Legally not authorized to. The psychologist is a postgraduate in psychology. Done BA and then MA in clinical psychology. And the role of the psychologist is to carry out various psychological tests. For instance, IQ test or personality test, etc. referred by a psychiatrist. So the psychologist actually is a pathologist to a physician. What the pathologist is to a physician, the physician refers cases to the pathologist who conducts the various tests, sends the report to the physician. Similarly, the psychiatrist refers cases to the psychologist who now conducts the test and sends back the report to the psychiatrist. The psychotherapist is a person who is trained to conduct psychotherapy for treatment of psychological disturbances and disorders, not diseases. The term used earlier was diseases, mental diseases. Here, so there's a difference between mental disease on one hand and psychological disturbances and disorders. It will become clear as we go along. Such a person can be from any background. A psychologist can become a psychotherapist, a psychiatrist can become a psychotherapist, a social worker can become a psychotherapist, anybody who is keen on it. The psychoanalyst is a person who is trained to carry out psychoanalysis in reconstructive psychotherapy. The psychotherapy is of three types: supportive, re-educative, and reconstructive. Supportive means what? Whenever the person is heartbroken, is in a crisis situation, is in emotional turmoil, the person gives him a shoulder to cry on, gives him some solace, does some stroking, helps the person to regain his balance. That's supportive psychotherapy, and that's what most of us do when a near and dear one is in crisis. What is re-educative psychotherapist? Nothing more than that is done except for the support. In the re-educative, the therapist helps the person to alter his orientation to life, his attitude to life, his perspective to life, such that he does not become emotionally disturbed later on. So the crisis situation does not arise, it's more preventive. Having learned from the past mistakes, now you prevent the future ones. In the supportive, you have just supported him in the crisis, in the need of the hour. You leave him, again there is another catastrophe, again he breaks down, again you support him, again he merrily comes out of it and again merrily goes into it, and again you give him a helping hand. That is supportive. Whereas in re-educative, what you are trying to do? Prevent the recurrences of such emotional breakdowns in the future as well. The psychoanalyst uses reconstructive psychotherapy, meaning the person wants to remake the person. According to psychoanalysis, a person is what he is because of the childhood experiences. That because he could not handle those experiences very well, he is fixated at that level. And later on in life, whenever there is a crisis, he regresses back to the stage where he got fixated. So in psychoanalysis, you take him back to that stage, make him give a more constructive response to the crisis that he had faced earlier, and change his entire nature. In the re-educative psychotherapy, you are just trying to change the person's outlook, not his nature. In this, you try to change the very nature of the person. What's the difference between the nature and the outlook? We shall see as we go along. So this is a failed psychotherapy. In the last century, it had its eminence. In fact, the promotion of the person depended upon whether he has undergone psychoanalysis training or not. And therefore, the psychiatric students used to undergo psychoanalysis themselves, because you cannot become a psychoanalyst unless you have undergone psychoanalysis yourself. And because those were costly sessions, they had to skip a meal a day so that they can afford those psychoanalysis sessions. And these go on for a few hours in a day, for 4-5 sessions a week, for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, because you are reconstructing the entire person. Ultimately, what it promised it could not deliver, so it's on the decline. In fact, in one of the issues of Time magazine, they had an article, whole issue was devoted to mental health, and one of the articles had shown that psychoanalysis is obsolete, and in that there was a photograph of Sigmund Freud sitting in the unemployment bureau. Okay, today that's the condition of psychoanalysis. So that's a psychoanalyst. And who's a psychic? He is conversant with parapsychology, and it has nothing to do with psychology. That's parapsychology, like ESP, extrasensory perception, clairvoyance, telekinesis, medium in a seance, etc., etc., etc. This is nothing to do with psychiatry and psychotherapy. But I have included the term psychic because many people, not understanding what the word psychic means, refers to psychotics as psychic, or psychiatrists as psychic, or sometimes the psychiatrist as psychotic. So not knowing the differences gives a lot of misinformation and miscommunication. So this is just at the outset trying to clarify the roles of the different types of people who handle the mind. So what is the utility of this session that we are going to have for you as homeopaths? So there would be two. One is personal benefit, the second is professional use. What is the personal benefit? It helps you as a person to maintain emotional stability. Emotional disturbances are rampant, are very common. And because they are very common, we mistakenly believe them to be normal. So, we don't even consider that as an abnormality. So also we have those disturbances in our own lives. And since we pass them as normal, we do nothing about it. And since we do nothing about it, to get rid of them, we pay a heavy price for it without even realizing it. And that's going to be our main focus in these next 2 days. So what is the utility of that emotional stability? It helps to improve your efficiency first, because a disturbed mind cannot function well. So once you have emotional equilibrium, you are able to perform to your potential. What clouds your potential